We're back with another episode of our humble podcast. I'm your host, GT. I have with me my co-host, Christina. How you doing?
Doing good. Doing good.
Man,
Yeah.
you're looking good. I like this shirt.
Thank you. I found it in a box.
Nice. Unpacking and whatnot.
Yeah. So, final episode, season 1.
Final episode of season 1. Wow. A bittersweet moment.
It's gone by so quick.
Right? It's like, seems like just yesterday it was just a idea of having this podcast and telling these stories of people that we've been doing awesome stuff with for the past several years. And now we're here with this, our final episode of season 1. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm super excited about who our guest is today.
Same.
We were kind of talking about it before taping started, how kind of similar situations for both of you, that you do such a great job of supporting people, pouring into other people, and really doing significant things behind the scenes. But you're not the types to go out and to seek the limelight. So thank you, Trina, for saying yes to being on our podcast.
You're welcome.
When I asked you, I was like, I wonder if she would feel more comfortable if Ani was here. And it just worked out that she wasn't available tonight, which is totally fine because you have a story to tell also. So I'm excited about hearing about it.
Okay.
We're supposed to have an icebreaker, and in typical my fashion, I didn't come up with like a really good one. But if I would just ask kind of a like typical icebreaker, if you could travel anywhere in the world, and study dance, where would that be?
Wow.
Yeah, throw a little bone in there.
And study dance?
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of people in Hollywood. So maybe I'd go to Hollywood and venture out there and see what they have.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Hollywood?
No.
No. So you're born and raised in Omaha?
Yes.
Okay. And I know we've traveled. Do you like travel?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
Okay, so let's eliminate the study dance and do a second icebreaker.
Okay.
Of where would you just want to travel to?
The Bahamas.
Bahamas?
Yes.
Bahamas are really nice. Yeah. Would you cruise there or like just go and do like an all-inclusive?
I would kind of do one of each. I
Yeah.
would do a cruise and then do an all-exclusive. So to get both experiences.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I went on a cruise before. It's like a rolling buffet. It's amazing. Really cool. So, Trina, we're here and just want to spend some time getting to know you. So we have been doing stuff together. I tell this story of how kind of the identity of One Kingdom Collective was maybe not defined, but it was made obvious thanks to you and your comments in Chicago when we went for Good Vibes. And I don't know if you even remember, but you were like, I see Humble Kings this, Humble Kings that, but we're here too.
Yes.
And you lead a group of female praise dancers. Like, how can we be kings? We're still royal, you know.
Right.
We live in that royalty, but we need to seek some kind of identity that made room for that too.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that to light.
You're welcome.
But yeah, so that kind of formed the identity of One Kingdom Collective, or at least got the wheels turning that things need to be different. So let's talk about you and your background. How did you get into teaching dance?
Well, when I was younger, I choreographed a little dance group, and I've always had a passion for dance. So it was still a passion for me, but I kind of stopped. And then a good friend of mine, she gave me a call one day and she said, I have something that I want you to do. And before she even asked the question, I said, you know what? I hear the Lord say, do it. And so she said, wow, okay, well, I need you to choreograph this praise dance team. And I said, oh, okay, I'm all for it. And so we got girls together and we just started getting different gospel songs together, and we took off from there.
Was that Tracy?
Yes, it was Tracy.
Knew it. Shout out to Tracy.
Yes.
She's amazing.
She is.
Like, she's another one that I would love to have on this podcast and get to share her story.
Was she the one that used to do the
That we did Christian
Nights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Like, that really formed a skeleton of what Good Vibes is today.
Yeah.
Like, Good Vibes would not exist without Tracy.
Yeah, I think Tracy was one of my angels, just coming to get me back on track to where I need to be, because I know a lot of times the Lord will put people in your path to get you back on track. And so it was something that I needed in my life to do. And because I have passion for kids already,
Yeah.
and like to see them do good and positive things and be in a positive atmosphere, I thought, what a great opportunity. So it's been a journey and it's been a blessing. We travel. We go to local churches, churches out of town, even private events we get invited to. And it's amazing how people are starting to know who we are, what we stand for, and what we do.
That's awesome. Okay, so the dance troupe, what is your guys' name now?
We are the Nation Shakers.
Nation Shakers.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so when you go out and you're performing at events, I know because we've done stuff together. Like, what can people expect from a Nation Shakers performance?
They can expect a amazing experience of just how good, because these girls are smart, just how good the Lord is, just to them as well as children, because in the Bible it says, train a child up and know that they should go.
Yeah.
And so when we do get together, we have talk sessions about the Bible and Jesus and, just growing in that area. And so people can expect to see that amazing feeling that they can get as well from just the music, just from the dance in itself. They can expect true gospel entertainment.
Nice.
Yes.
I like that.
Right. I like how you're planting those seeds in a kid's life, not only for dance, but also for faith. That's super important. Like you said, you train them up when they're young so that when they get older, they know right from wrong. They know which way to go, and you pray that they make the right decisions.
Right.
I love what is going on with your daughter these days. Like, just to see, I remember, like, she was so small when we first started doing shows together. I was telling Christina, like, she's graduated now, right?
Yes.
Like, wow. Congratulations on your graduation. But now she can go and study dance, can study the childcare, and she, like, the fact that she wants to carry on the things that you're passionate about, like, that's huge. That's my heart for a lot of stuff that I'm doing. So I want to make sure that I provide a better life for my kids than what I had growing up, and that they don't have to struggle with the same things that I did. Trying to provide a better path for them. Hopefully some of the seeds and the foundations that I'm building, that they can continue to build on top of.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Thank you. Yeah.
So she wasn't able to make it today because she was rehearsing, right? She had rehearsal.
She belongs to a majorette team here in Omaha, one of the only majorette teams here, I Heartbeat Dance, ran by Miss Shakita.
Yeah.
And they have a competition this weekend as well as the parade that they're getting ready for. And so she puts her commitment toward her dance. And since it's competition week, it's mandatory that they be to practice. So, I
Make sure you're
make
ready.
sure she's, yeah.
Yeah. And she's the captain,
She
right?
is. She is.
That's awesome. How did that happen? Did she have to audition for it, or?
Yes, they audition, all the girls audition. And because dance is a passion for her already, she tries to go above and beyond. Well, she does go above and beyond. Practicing at home,
Nice.
I can wake up in the middle of the night and hear thumps and bumps, and it is
You
Ani
know what's
doing
going on.
flips and splits and everything. So yeah,
Wow.
but she, believe it or not, she couldn't do a split or pull her leg up, but she can do all of that because she practiced constantly
Awesome.
on her own. So she was in gymnastics and ballet and jazz and contemporary and tap and yeah, I had her in a lot of stuff.
Sounds like that would have kept you busy too.
It did.
Yeah,
It did, but it kept me busy in a positive way.
that's good.
So I love seeing her be happy. You know, a lot of people wonder, okay, do you push your kid too much? But if it's a passion that they love and they want to go, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So
So I know kids are very important to you
they are.
to the point that you have a business
Yes.
where you get to work with kids every day.
Yes.
Do you want to plug your business?
Um, I own a child care in Loving Hands Child Care, located off of 89th in Wyoming. I'm currently full though. I kind of stay full, but I've been doing child care for 24 years. And I love kids. They're innocent. They're amazing because they come up with the craziest thing. And all you can do is just really laugh about it. But sometimes a child needs a safe haven.
For
And
sure.
so I want to be that safe haven for them to come and enjoy themselves. I've had so many parents tell me why my child didn't want to leave. I can't believe they didn't want to leave. So that gives me assurance and letting me know that I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
And so,
24 years, that's a long time.
It's a
Yeah.
really long time. Did you have like a traditional job before you started it? Like what did you do before?
believe it or not, I worked in a grocery store.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was that jump like? I'm gonna just start my own
Actually,
childcare.
my oldest son, he was born with cerebral palsy and chronic lung disease. And every time I would go to work, he would get sick. And I would always have to come home and I'd end up losing my job every time. So I took him to the pediatrician and let her know what was going on. And she said he's having separation anxiety.
Wow.
And he had 24-hour around the care nurses because of his trach and because he had to be fed through a button in his belly. So he had to have that type of care. The ventilator was a big deal because traveling to doctor appointments and stuff wasn't easy. But she said, well, you're going to have to stay at home. And I said, well, that's not going to work. I said, so, well, okay. Since I have to stay home and I love kids, I'll just do daycare. And it just took off from there.
It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. So how many kids do you have?
I have 4,
4.
just biological, and then I have 8 altogether with my marriage.
Okay. And not to age you, but like age ranges.
28 to 3.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
That's a big
You
trend.
said 8. I was like, what? What'd you say?
28 to 3. Wow.
Yes.
How many are still like living at home?
2 of my, Ani, of course, because she's only 17. And then my second son, he's still home, kind of.
Kind of. Wow. That is awesome. I love to see your heart for the kids. I agree. Like, these kids are special. Every child's special. And it's important for them to have like a good foundation, good seed sown into them as children, because those things that are planted in them is who they grow to be.
Right.
So I love your name, In Loving Hands, right?
Yes.
And then what I've seen from you, you know, you've had Braden for a while, and I always felt comfortable that he was safe when he was with you. And then to see like what you've done with the praise dancers and how you've committed to them for so long, it's just amazing to see. How long have you been teaching the praise dance? I know you
I
kind of
believe it's been about 5.5 years now.
Okay.
It's been a while.
So what was dance like for you growing up? Like, did you dance? Do you dance?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Not anymore as much. Not anymore as much. But I
You didn't
did.
hear I did.
Did.
Coming up, I choreographed a dance team, and we won first all the time. I have trophies to prove it, and plaques and ribbons and medals and things like that. But dance was just always an outlet for me. So it just relaxed me. It put me in a zone. Just like how my daughter is now. Like dance is like an outlet for her. If she gets frustrated or just in a mood, she'll just start dancing. But dance for me growing up it was competitive. Because back then, everybody had a dance team. There was always competitions, out of town, in town, and we were preparing. We were getting ready for the competition, so we would practice day in and day out. So, and it paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
hard
did.
work does pay off.
Yes.
Usually.
So did you do that like through a school or was it through?
No, actually, just me, independent. I got a few friends together, my little sister, and I said, okay, let's call ourselves Young Crew Girls and let's do this.
The Young Crew Girls?
The Young Crew Girls. Because there was a group called the Young Crew Boys, so we kind of copied off of them. And then when I stopped with the Young Crew Girls, I went to Little But Hype. So,
Little but hype.
Little But Hype, and that was a whole different dance team, but again, they were amazing young ladies. We performed at a lot of different places, so it was fun. Yeah.
So did you take like dance classes too, or are you
I
self-taught?
didn't. I self-taught in the mirror. Me and my mom.
Oh,
Me and my mom.
That's awesome. Did your
Yeah.
mom dance?
Ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, I don't know if she danced when she was younger, but when I was younger, she would dance with me and show me different little dance moves that I could do and stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was just embedded in me.
Yeah. And then it's embedded into your daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do your other kids dance?
They don't, but they can. Now Trayvon he can dance, but he can sing, he can play instruments,
Oh, wow.
he raps, he does
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, he's just yes. But actually all four of my kids they can dance. Yes.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
right. Right. It's a family thing.
Yeah.
Right. Nice. So that is crazy. I love that like entrepreneurship is something that is important to me. To some aspect, I like to consider myself an entrepreneur, but having like little to no training in it, kind of learning as I go, trying to figure stuff out. Like there's always so many struggles to overcome. Like the fact that you've been running your daycare business for 24 years, like that's amazing to me.
Thank you.
How do you keep going?
You have to have passion for kids. You have to have patience. You have to love what you do. I love what I do. I look forward to seeing the kids' faces. I look forward to just doing fun things with them, and it's just something that I love to do. If you wake up in the morning and you don't love your job, you're not doing the right thing. You're not doing. You're in the wrong occupation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you wake up and you love what you do, then you're in the right spot.
So you said you're full. How many kids do you have?
10 at a time.
Whew.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what you said, like that's spot on. If you hear that saying, if you do what you love and you never work a day in your life, for a lot of people, it's really hard to find what that is.
Yeah.
Like for me, I found that I really love working in stage production, being a stagehand, running audio, like being part of making events and shows happen. But I didn't find that until later in life. And I guess kind of to an extent, I feel like you ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk? I know I've talked to you about him.
You've talked to me about it.
He's his guy, he kind of cut his teeth running a wine business for his dad, I believe. And he learned a lot about entrepreneurship and like marketing is kind of his thing. He talks a lot about social media, but he also does a lot of teaching on like just success and lifestyle and things. And that's one of his points is if you're young and you don't know what you want to do with life, just try a lot of different things. Because you're young, so if you fail, like you don't have a whole lot of responsibility that, you're not losing a house or
Right.
your kids aren't starving. Hopefully you can go and take those risks before you get to that point. But the only way to really find what you're passionate about is to experience different things,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. I guess that's kind of my input on that is to find what it is that you're passionate about. It can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a blessing that you like walked into that.
Did you say cut his teeth?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
it's a figure of speech.
I've never
like,
heard
not
that before.
literally.
Me either.
I was
That
thinking,
was-
you know, I have a really hard, like, if I don't get something out, I forget it really easy. So, like, I interrupt a lot, and it's not like I don't want to do it, but it's just like, I'm like, I know my brain, I'm gonna forget it. So I'm sitting here listening to you talk, but the whole time I'm just saying, cut his teeth, cut his teeth. Like, in my head, like, don't forget that. I've never heard that before.
I've never heard it
What does that
either.
mean?
It's like you gain experience. Like you think about a baby, like they chew on the teething ring to like cut through their gums so their teeth get exposed. So
Huh.
yeah, he cut his teeth is like a figure saying that he came into his
Never in my
existence.
life.
Yeah, no, me either. Never in my life.
Let me pull out the Google machine.
So, cut his teeth. He said, what?
That's what I go to. Somebody asks me a question. It's like I mean I know it's a saying, but I don't know like the history of it or whatever. Like what does Google say? What's the history of cut? It's a saying for sure. I know it is. I've heard it before.
Got it.
It's a figure of speech. He's not literally like
Cutting his actual
carving his teeth, right?
I learned something new today on this final episode of
Yeah, me
this
too.
podcast. Just dropping knowledge.
Oh, you're funny.
So where are people going to be able to see you guys coming up?
Oh, we are actually going to have a revival off of 30th and Ames starting August 17th.
Really?
Yes.
You said starting,
Starting.
so is it a
So it's the 17th through the 20th. And it's Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church. And we are going to have a 4-day revival. Is it 4 or 5?
Yeah, gonna have some Christian rap.
just
I'm
tell
not
them
sure
no,
if
it's
we're gonna
okay.
have Christian rap. We do have another event coming up in October, and it's a musical.
Cool.
So if you'd like to perform, yes,
That sounds like fun.
yeah,
Yeah, be
we
part
can
of a
use
musical.
we can use more performers.
So is this event the revival? Is it just like your dance troupe, or is it like a lot of?
No, we have 20 guest speakers for the yes for
You just
this.
It's
drop
over
this like
4
it's
days.
so casual. Like,
Yeah.
we're just having a 4-day revival. No big deal.
That's what we do.
Yes, yes.
Like, where can we see you? I thought you were gonna say like, oh, the parade, or we're gonna be at this park. You said, oh, it's a 4-day revival.
Yes.
I still remember, I think it was the first parade that we did that the praise dancers were with us in it.
Yes.
Was that the one when Tim had everybody strapped to the truck?
Yes.
It's the third time we have talked about this now on 3 different episodes of this podcast.
The foundation, right?
Yes.
We talked
I
to
was
each
not
of
there,
the 3
but I
people
heard
who
about it,
participated.
and I was just like, what?
It was so fun though.
It was really fun, and it set the catalyst for the relationships and how we work together moving forward. And it also was like the beginning of us doing this parade series. So, I mean, since it's been the last 4 or 5 years now that
Yeah.
Humble Kings is involved in the parade, sponsored by First Student, and it's cool. It's cool to see that continue to go.
I know we couldn't do it the year before because Ani was in a pageant and she won first place in the Elks pageant. So she was crowned Midwest Queen, and so she was on a convertible doing her little wave
That's
and
awesome.
Oh,
wearing her sash
She
and
was
her
in the
crown.
parade?
Yes.
Oh,
she was
cool.
in the parade. So
Well, y'all are always welcome. I think we post about it in the One Kingdom chat. If we don't, I will start. And yeah, you guys are always welcome. We got 2 more parades coming up, the Benson Days and the Miller Days.
I'm so mad that they have the Benson and the Native on the same day.
Oh,
That's like,
really?
Yeah.
how does that happen?
Like, why do you have to choose?
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah,
I
unfortunately.
think Benson announced, I don't remember who announced it first.
I don't know. We were
Yeah, we
able
got
to get
linked into.
registered for Benson first. So we had already made that commitment. The money had been paid. And then we found out how to register for the Native Omaha Days. And we're like, oh, great. It's on the same day. We got to choose. Unfortunately. But
Whoever did that, bad idea.
bad idea. Don't do it again. It's hard because like Native Omaha Days happens every 2 years. It may like always be like this because I know Benson is pretty much on the same weekend that it was last year. It's like all these parades just like 1 or 2 day difference from what it was last year. So it was planned probably since last year, but I don't know. I don't know. People above me make these decisions.
Right.
So we're gonna end this first episode, this first section of our interview with Trina. Before we go, can you let people know how they can get in contact with you?
Sure. You can go to my Facebook page, Trina Jenkins, or just I'm public as far as if you look up In Loving Hands Child Care, everything will pop up. All my information will pop up there, my phone number, address, and everything, how to get in touch with me.
Even though she's full, so you're not getting a spot.
Even though I'm full. For the praise
Join
dancers,
the waiting list.
same thing. Trina Jenkins, and just you look me up, and mostly on Facebook is where they can find me if they want to book the praise dancers to come and do.
Just message you
performances.
directly.
Yeah, just message me directly.
Do we have a Facebook page for the praise
No,
dancers?
right now it's just my personal Facebook page.
Yeah.
So
Once you start getting into those multiple profiles, it's like a whole job.
For
it is a very big job. I'm actually currently running Ani's TikTok page, and she has over 34,000 followers, and it's a job.
That's some work. All right. We're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Our Humble Podcast with our guest, Trina Jenkins. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And we're back with another episode of Our Humble Podcast. Welcome back. I'm your host, GT. This is my co-host, Christina. I'll just let you take on the rest of the show. Just kind of push you out there in the last episode.
It is the last episode.
Right. Bittersweet.
Final episode.
Final episode.
Yeah.
It's been a fun journey, and it's been a learning curve, right? For me, starting this project was to learn a couple new skills and to really get down on paper. So the thing that is really important to me is the stories, that you have a story to tell. Everybody else that we've been working with in the One Kingdom Collective have a story to tell. And it's the opportunity to get it recorded in a digital format that can be accessed at any point in the future, right? So 5 years from now, when we're refreshing your episode, we can go back and listen. Oh, this was 5 years ago, Ani was just now starting to take over all these events and win first place in all these championships, and now she's like in somewhere other foreign country. I'm
Right.
bombing this completely.
For me, this project has been another episode of you pushing me violently out of the nest, kicking and screaming,
Stretching.
and then being like, fly,
And you have.
so I don't die.
My dad told me, you want to know how my dad told me that? He taught me how to swim.
Yeah, he threw you in the pool.
Threw me in a pool.
That's illegal.
Figure it out. You figure it out or drown. Burn the boats.
I mean, they actually do like have swim classes like that now, essentially. Like, I can't remember. It's like for the babies. Have you seen that?
That's terrible.
It's like, but it's basically to teach infants and young babies how to swim, because the number of drownings and deaths that happen is crazy, especially I mean, not so much here because we don't have as many pools and stuff like that, but I cannot remember what it's called. But yeah, basically they teach them how what to do if you fall into the water. Yeah. It is terrifying to see. So I can't imagine you as a bigger kid and your dad just being like,
Figure it out.
hold your breath so you come back up.
We took Braxton swimming a couple days ago, and he's been taking swim lessons through the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, okay.
And he's actually he's starting to get it. This little dude's out here swimming to the middle of the pool and back.
He needs that swim cap though, because it was just dreads straight in the water.
This is right there.
Oh yeah, no, they did good, but
Right. We're here with our guest Trina. We get back to this
right.
interview.
You even laid there
Birds. What's that?
You were on the back of the couch, enough.
Order.
Back on track.
Order in the courts.
My bad.
Trina, how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good.
With us today, we have none other than Trina Jenkins.
Yes.
Right.
Am I on track?
Yes.
Nice. This is just a similar situation with Christina. I think that it's important to be intentional in doing things that make you uncomfortable, because you stretch and you grow from it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So thank you again for saying yes to come and talk to us. And I don't know, I think I might have said it in the last episode, but a lot of times you are the one who's supporting everyone else, and it's good to celebrate you sometimes too. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I need some choreography lessons.
That would be Ani.
Ani?
Yes.
Okay.
She's really good at it.
Nice. Yeah, I saw her and Kusher, they did that performance at the soccer field.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was a really cool experience to be there with T, and we did it. I don't remember what he called it, but apparently there was some old school TV show, maybe it was MTV Cribs. Not, it wasn't Cribs, but the pool party where they'd have a DJ up on the balcony, and then there's people up there rapping. So the people, the players, they were out on the field, and you just got these two Christian riffraff dudes up here yelling at people from the top of the balcony. We had a lot of fun. And then Kusher, when we were there for the sound check, he was like, so the music's gonna be up here, but I need to be down here. It's not gonna work. So it took a while to figure out how we were gonna do it, but we figured out if we angle the speakers the right way and they're at the right place on the field, then the music's not hitting him too delayed, so he's able to stay on beat, because they had a whole dance routine.
Well, yeah, they did.
Seeing him, and we met him first. My first time meeting him, and it's crazy that since I met him, I'm seeing him all over social media now.
Oh yeah.
It's usually how it works.
Kusher?
Kusher Snazzy?
Schnazzy?
Is that right?
Yes. Afrobeat dancer, rapper.
Nice.
When we were doing the sound check, he's walking out on the field, and he said, "DJ, bring the vibes." So you'll hear me and T saying that in the future, bring the vibes. But it was super cool. But he does Afro beats, right? Is his music.
Yes.
And he was out there performing and had a whole dance routine with background dancers.
Nice.
They're actually going on tour next year.
Really?
Yeah. Ani's going to be with them. And so they did a performance in Kansas City not too long ago. And they have a couple of other performances coming up too.
That's huge.
Yeah.
How did they meet? Do you know?
Oh, Facebook. Yeah, he was advertising that he was looking for background dancers, and I said, "Well, let's go for it. Let's see what it's about." And there's another thing that I love about him. He's a God-fearing man.
Yeah.
So he's good company to be around. Him and his wife, they're amazing.
Don't be surprised if you see a GT Dine Kusha Snazzy collab coming up.
That'd be pretty dope.
That would be pretty dope.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like he's big time, so he might be even too big for our circle. I would say he came through with the wardrobe and everything.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that man has it together.
Yeah.
And then that same day, he was in this very studio shooting an interview with, I want to say it was with Tim's lady, Takara. So be on the lookout for that interview coming up.
Yeah.
All right, so Trina, we talked a little bit about your history with dance and your childcare. First, I want to know, like, you have any other like hidden talents? Like, one of the reasons I wanted to start this podcast is because I found out that I know some really talented people, and I just don't know like what all of that people do.
My most talent just it is in the kids ministry.
Okay.
I am also a minister,
Okay.
and so when I speak, it's kind of nervous for me, going in the pulpit and speaking and everything. But when I do it, it's like the Holy Spirit takes over, and it's an amazing feeling. There's no feeling to me like the feeling of the Holy Spirit. So
Absolutely.
I am a minister, and I do speak at my church and other churches I've spoken at as well. I'm a caregiver, like you said. That's my biggest thing. I love to give and help and just be a part of something that can help someone else.
Yeah.
So
So caregiver, choreographer, mother, minister,
wife.
wife.
That's a job.
It's a job.
What am I saying?
That's
I'm going to get my ordination in a couple of months
Awesome.
and be a reverend. So,
Reverend Trina.
right. Well, that's awesome. Congrats.
thank you.
So, what inspires you? Like, why do you serve?
Well, I've had so many different things happen to me in life, and I know that I wouldn't have been able to make it without faith. Just having faith and pressing my way, because you can get to a point in your life where you can get so down and depressed, and no one knows because you keep a smile on your face.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks you're great all the time, but they don't see you crying at night.
Right.
They don't see the heartache and pain that you actually go through. So my faith is really strong because he has brought me through some things that I wouldn't have been able to make it through without the Lord, So at first being my son, born, on life support, being with nurses 24 hours around the clock, me having to work 2 and 3 jobs sometimes, just going through a lot of life. Life happens. And so when it happens, you can either get better or be bitter. And I decided to get better.
I like that.
Because becoming bitter is not someone that I would want to be, and it won't get me to where I need to be. So my father was a minister and a pastor, and so we grew up in church. Me and my siblings, we grew up in church. And I was in the choir.
Nice.
So I sang in the church choir. And actually, it's the church that I'm at now, Mount Olive Baptist Church. That's the church I grew up in.
Wow.
Yeah,
Look at you coming home.
full circle.
That's
Full
awesome.
circle. It's like doing a 3, full circle. So I'm grateful to be back there, but it's history.
Yeah.
And so I know that everybody has their own beliefs, but I know that with me, without trusting and believing in God, I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have made it through all of my trials and my tribulations and the things that I go through. And I find myself, even through the hard times, thanking him, because I was saying at church, a lot of us say, why me?
Yeah.
Why am I going through this? And instead of asking why me, ask, Lord, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Wow.
Because there's something in it. There's a lesson in things that we go through. And we don't look at it like that. We want to play the, oh my goodness, why me card, instead of looking at the bigger picture, because there's a purpose for everyone.
Right.
And so, if we just start saying, okay, instead of saying why me, say, what do you need me to learn from this, Lord? What am I supposed to learn? And ever since I heard that, I look at things very differently. When I go through something, I sit back and I start to say, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? Because there's a lesson there. Everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
So
deep. I love it. I like that. I feel like the conversation I had recently was kind of had that same. It was Alan was talking about that. Like people, we see like bad things happen to good people, and we want to know like, why does this happen? And a lot of times the answer is it's not for us to know. We have to be okay with that. But at the same sense, like you said, everything that happens for a reason, and a lot of times there's a lesson involved with that. People find themselves in these cycles in life and continuously find themselves in the same or similar situations, and not recognizing that there's something that you did, some decisions that you were making, or people that you were surrounding yourselves with that brought you into this situation that you didn't want to be in,
yeah.
but you keep finding yourself back here because you keep making those same decisions. You're not learning a lesson, or keep associating with the same people,
Right.
right? So I love that point.
We were just talking about that at church. The storms.
Right?
You go through a storm, and if you don't do the cleanup after the storm, you're likely to go right back to that storm.
Wow.
Break the cycle.
That, like, break the generational curses. So, those, yeah.
That's great. I don't know. It's all interesting. Interesting that you found your way back to the same church that you grew up in. Do you still sing?
No.
No.
No. I
bet you
don't.
could.
I mean, I'll sing along with the church if they're singing,
Right.
but no. My
Okay.
son is the singer. I'm not.
Nice. I find it interesting how people, I don't know, maybe it's just like part of life, but a lot of people that we are around and doing stuff with, like, can trace at some point in time we used to sing in the choir. I used to sing in the choir too.
Oh,
I
wow.
hated it. Hated it. My dad made me do it, which, I'm thankful now that he kept me in the church, even though I wasn't paying attention to what was going on. Like, I grew up in church and like that seed was planted in my life.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. That's,
And it's so funny that you talk about planting seeds. That was another part of my testimony at church, because some people feel like they're getting buried and they're just getting trampled over. But you have to look at yourself as not getting buried, but getting planted like a seed. And seeds have to go through transitions, and they have to break through the dirt and the soil to get to the surface. And even then, they still have to fight to grow because they need the water. So I said, if you're planted by the living water, you never have to thirst
right.
ever again, and you're going to grow. But you still have to go through the transition of growing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you have that with you, you still have to go through. So
That's so good. I So one of the things that we always want to get at is like what you're learning this season. I feel like you've been dropping just gems left and right.
Right. She's like, what if I don't have enough to say? I'm like, Trina, you saying?
Right. I think it's like just a testament that everybody has a story. Everybody has something to share. Our second guest was someone who we weren't even planning on interviewing, but because our guest fell through at the last minute, had to scramble and find someone, and it ended up being one of our best interviews.
Wow.
Just because that point, like there's something that is in your life that can be used to encourage and educate somebody listening.
Yeah. Wow. I know I do have a little story that I told my church once before, but it makes sense.
Okay.
Well, two stories, but I'll do one. Um, there was a guest, and he went to a dinner. This is a huge dinner. Lots of important people are going to be there. So the table was set with gold and silver and bronze and then paper plates. Well, guests started showing up and they sat where they felt they deserved to sit. And of course, this first guest sat at the gold because, you know, he felt like he was honorable and everything. But as people came, he kept giving up his seat. And so eventually he ended down at the paper plates. Well, the guest of honor showed up and seen what that one guest was doing, and he took the guy that was at the paper plates and brought him all the way to the top in front of all those other people. See, God can exalt you when you humble yourself and take steps back and steps down. Bless you.
Excuse me.
I don't know what
I'm
happened.
sorry.
Sorry.
But it's important to know that sometimes humbling ourselves is not for the other people, it's for ourselves as well. And so just with that story and seeing how a person just keeps going down, down, down the ladder so that someone else can go before them. And then here comes the Lord out of the blue, just like, you know what, I've seen everything that you were doing. I'm going to take you right back up and put you at the head of the table and put you on top.
I mean, that's what Jesus promises, right? He'll make those that's last the first.
First.
Like, for whatever reason, my brain always goes to Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last. If you're last, you're first. Yeah, no, that's like a beautiful story. I'm interested in the second one. Do you want to share that one too?
Sure. Okay. There was a guy, and he had a camel. So the first thing in the morning, he made the camel bow down on his knee so he can put the package on the camel's back. So they're walking along, and then midday, the package starts sliding off, and he had the camel bow down on his two knees so that he could straighten the load. And so he straightened it, and they continued on throughout the night. And at nighttime, he took the load off, and they were relaxing. So, like the camel in the morning, when we wake up with a load, we need to get on our knees and pray. And as we're carrying that load throughout the day, and it becomes heavy and tilted, we need to stop and get on our knees and pray. And then when we can get up and continue to go and get to the nighttime with that load, we take that load off and we thank the Lord for getting us through that day when we get on our knees and we pray.
That's good.
So.
That's so good. Come to the Father. Nice. I like that picture though. It's so like vivid. I like one of my old pastors called them word pictures, where you hear a story that you can physically see the camel and that load shifting off of its back, and just taking the time to sit and to come to the caregiver to adjust the load so that it's bearable.
That's right.
Or he might just take it off.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
Dropping gems left and right.
Yeah.
Trina, I'm glad we had this time to sit down. Like, I feel like it's the same thing with everybody else that we've had on the show. when we come together, we're usually working on something, and rarely do we make time to just come and eat some chicken or some Oreos. But you know, this platform has allowed for us to host and to really build deeper relationships with the people that we have been working with. And we're going to continue doing stuff. We really need to be intentional and like planning stuff
Yeah.
together. But as with everybody else, you know, we all have our different projects, our different ministries that we're working in.
Yeah.
And when they intersect, and it's supposed to happen. I'm not one to try to force things to come out of season. If when the time is right, it's going to happen. And I also feel like if you're trying to force something that maybe not that it's not meant to happen, but maybe it's not meant to happen right now, and things need to align to allow things to flow better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, your picture wasn't crystal clear, but it's also not muddy.
I love when we all, like in our group, plan things. We haven't done anything together in a long time,
Right.
as a group, and I miss that.
That mixer's coming September 1st.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hope you got it on your calendar. We're going to have a good time. It's
Good.
going to be a great time to come together, fellowship, and to refresh and recharge. Working on some things for that are going to make it a commemorative event.
Okay.
I think that's the right word.
We were just talking, like right before we came, about how we need to start planning our annual Christmas party.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I feel like for the last 2 years, we're like, oh, the praise. It's not even praise dancers, but we've been saying praise dancers this whole time. It's the nation shakers, right?
Yes.
Nation shakers. About them doing like a performance to tell the story of Christmas. Like, I really think that should happen.
Okay. Yeah, you've mentioned that before, and I think that we can do something. We can get something together.
Let's make it happen.
Since we're talking about it in July instead of November 18th.
Right. Make sure you guys got time. You can write out the script and choreography and
Yeah.
all that jazz.
Props,
Oh
lighting,
yeah.
smoke machine,
Oh, who's
light.
budget?
Oh,
I have a fog machine.
Do you?
I
see,
Okay.
he'll provide.
Amen.
He
He'll
always
always
does.
provide.
Yep. Sweet. Well, Trina, do you have, I feel like, again, you've been dropping so many nuggets. Anything that you want to give our listeners before we get out of here?
Well, just if you have a passion about anything, don't let anyone discourage you. You know, go for your passion, go for your dream. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do what you have in your heart to do.
Yeah.
Because you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.
Amen.
Yes.
So wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be, huh?
No.
Oh, makes me
Awesome.
happy.
Yeah.
Well, we're here.
We're here.
Yes.
The end.
The end of our 10th episode, the end of our first season, our humble podcast. It's been a fun journey and a lot of really cool stories being told. So I'm excited for us to come back in the next seasons and to see what that looks like and what those stories are going to be, and to just continue doing the thing. Because why not? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been our humble podcast with our guest, Trina. Trina, if you don't mind, could you tell them again your contact info, just in case someone wanted to book you for consultation or speaking engagements?
Okay. My Facebook page is Trina Jenkins. You can message me directly. And if you don't have social media or Facebook, you can...
Don't give your phone number.
No, you can look me up on the internet and it'll give you my phone number and information, because I'm a public for childcare.
Oh, for your daycare.
Yes, so we'll
awesome.
give you my contact information. Yes.
So look me up.
Call me, beat me,
Trina.
if you want to reach me.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we gotta get out of here. It's been fun.
Yes.
It's been great. I'm glad that we got to sit down and have this time together. So, Trina, thank you again for saying yes and being part of our first season of Our Humble Podcast.
Thank you guys for having me.
Don't want to go.
Until next time.
Until next time, we'll see you guys